Are you nervous? Are you worried? Are you wondering about the future of your business and the ability to do what you're passionate about and love and have the career and the security and the safety that you love? I know in this time of uncertainty, there are a lot of questions that we all have, and I don't promise even to have all the answers. But in this episode, I am going to pull out a lot of our questions and look at how you, as a personal trainer, can help create some maybe source of calm for yourself in order to be there for your customers and your clients. And in fact, how you can do that, how you can show up to serve. And I'm first meeting with a guest, Alex Gill from Boulder, Colorado. Later this week, you're going to hear me online on another podcast with another friend of mine from Boulder, Colorado, Aaron Carson. And the two of them I pull from uniquely because of the cross coaching and physical body approach that Alex Gill has that will appeal and attract many of you, and to the many years and decades of leadership at several levels that Aaron Carson can provide. So today's episode, we're going to talk about just on the superficial surface level, and we will come back and dive in deeper to literally how you can care for yourself first to show up as the right person, and then how you can literally structure content that will ultimately lead to something that supports your business financially as this blows over and or comes to an even stable future that we can all count on. So before I dive into the episode, I wanted to lay that out for you and let you know we are handling your concerns. And second, now is a time when I'm seeing trainers essentially double down on their training. And if they're in a brick and mortar only face-to-face business, you're looking at how can I become a digital business? How can I provide telecoaching? How can I not have to be there physically and still be able to run my business? And potentially, how can I have more passive income in addition to what I do when I have to show up for appointments? And one of the ways you can do that is through the Flipping 50 Specialist. The Flipping 50 Fitness Specialist has two options. Right now, we are keeping it open at 50% off for a few more as they get in through this end of March because of what is happening to all of us. You suddenly have time open up, providing you more opportunity to change what you didn't love about your career before. Don't go back to just what's normal. Go ahead to what's new and what you want, because people will still be searching for and needing and wanting exercise and leadership in health. Everybody's taking a closer look at what they've been doing up until this point, and that is going to continue into the far and near future. You can find out more at fitnessmarketingmastery.com/programs, where you will see the code for certificate 50 to get in at 50% off right now. Here's why that's so important. For the advanced option, you get 4 months of masterminding to help brand, position, price, and help you package programs so that you know what works, you know what words to use, and you know how to attract and keep and hopefully get referrals and testimonials easily from new clients. We're going to put that mastermind piece up in front because right now you need to leverage it and you need to create sources of revenue faster than ever before. And I hear you, and we're going to go forward with that. So without further ado, let's launch right into our podcast. So my guest today is fitness pro Alex Gill. She is founder of Vitalé Studio. And you know what? I'm going to have to ask her, and I should have done that before we started. I always do this, how to pronounce it and if I got it right. So she'll tell me in a minute. Alex has been in the human performance industry for over 2.5 decades. She's the founder of Vitalé Studio, a holistic lifestyle coaching model where she guides clients how to amplify their healthy life, become fully engaged with life, and define their practices of happiness. Alex's passion is helping people at the workforce to sustain high performance while maintaining vibrant health, energy, and happiness. Alex has been coaching high performance for almost 25 years. Her clients include entrepreneurs and team business leaders who want to increase mental, emotional, and physical fitness in order to cope with the great challenges that leading a workforce can bring. Alex's philosophy is that by creating habits to restore and recover the body and mind, anyone can perform at their highest levels with a healthy lifestyle. She shares sound and simple psychological and physiological tools that take people from surviving in stress to thriving in stress. And don't we all need a little pinch of that right now? Alex, thanks so much for being here.
It's my pleasure, Deborah. I'm very glad to be here and to serve you in your community.
And I should let everybody know, Alex and I originally met in Boulder, Colorado. So as I'm here actually in Scottsdale, feeling a little isolated because I'm that much more removed from my home and family and other family members who are in Boulder, I think there's a reason I'm reaching out to people who are in Boulder, and that's one of them. But that's how Alex and I originally met. And we, I think, kind of have this parallel philosophy that the mind is as important as the body. And much of the training that Alex has gone through, feel free to share your check coaching and other things that you've experienced and weave into your practice, Alex. But, it grabbed me from the beginning, who you are, how you trained. And that's how we first met, just for listeners. So you've got some idea. But I really also have noticed you reaching out to your customers and how you're supporting them. And I think what we want to do here today for all of you listeners is give you some ideas. So if you purely are running a brick and mortar business today, and sadly you are not right at this moment, you may be very worried, very nervous about your own health of your business and what the future will hold for you. And that, is potentially causing you some paralysis. So if we can relieve you a little bit of that, give you some opportunities and some hope, that's our goal. So Alex, talk to me a little bit about what you're doing. What are you hearing from your customers, your clients, that's tapping you into how you can help them right now?
Yes, of course. So my clients are experiencing, I think, what most people are right now, which is tremendous amount of fear, which shows up in our bodies in the form of anxiety, right? That sense of like being nervous, that sense of so much uncertainty right now, and the threat of our business and or future income. So people are experiencing a lot of anxiety. And the way I am helping myself, because I can also fall into a little bit anxiety myself by having a brick and mortar business here in Boulder. But the way I'm dealing with this anxiety myself, first of all, is by connecting. I am finding ways to connect not just more with my clients by more text messages, phone calls, and even phone calls outside my coaching sessions with them, just to make sure they are applying all the tools they have learned, not just with me, but tools that they know how to use when it comes to managing their own anxiety or their stress. A lot of times people say I'm stressed, and they really mean I'm in a state of fear. So people use the word stress a lot, but what people really mean when they say that, it's a state of fear. So I think connection is number one for all of us, fitness professionals, coaches, is to find ways to serve our community, serve people by delivering what we know. We're in this profession because we love helping people. And there's no better time to serve and help than now. Like really serve instead of trying to sell anything. It's really coming from that place of service, because I believe in the long run, doing all the service because that's what we love to do, will generate future clients for us because they are able to see what we do and how we can help them. So, helping a lot of my clients with anxiety by giving them tools of like self care, like meditation, good nutrition, finding ways to move the body, walking nature. So, there are many strategies that I'm happy to go deeper here in this interview and help everybody to manage their own fear right now.
Fantastic. A couple of things I want to pluck out of what you just said is coming back to connection. Obviously, I think that's a huge one. And probably a fellow fitness professional, not somebody I know personally, but literally, quote unquote, the friend, on Facebook, quote or posted something the other day that I kind of took offense to slightly. And I think he said, clients don't need more workouts right now. They need support. And, I agree, disagree, because I think people are looking for some free workouts. They're looking for options for, I need something to replace my gym. I can't go to the gym. What am I going to do? And I think we have to meet them a little bit where they are and hope that then if we get to them from that, we may make them be able to see that potentially they don't need the extreme workout that they're used to doing, and they need to boost their immune system. And by doing that, they're going to do something different than they might ordinarily do. So I wasn't in disagreement, but I was thinking there may have been a better way to say that. I think that's what I was getting at. But I also loved in there, you said, they're using the term stressed a lot. And I think we all have to be careful because I think, I hesitate to use this word, but we're immune to it when people use the word stressed anymore because we're all saying it so very much, even before this moment when we have a just reason to be. So I think what we need to go deeper on is realize when people are stressed, they may be behaving badly. They may snap. They may have a sharp tongue or sharp text if it's, communication via text or email or posts. And I think we just want to be aware of that and be really respectful and open to the fact everybody's going to deal with it in a different way. And regardless of what their opinion is or what they're saying, we are all in this together and we are all having very similar responses. And all we want to help them do is get through it. And I think that may help come back to what you're pointing at is we want to be in and of service. And it's those people who are going to thrive. So nobody can do this, but I'm going to put you on the spot and ask, you've got 25 years of experience. And so you've seen some storms, right? We've weathered, an economy problem, 10 and 15 years ago, and we came through it. But what would you predict, Alex? I think we're going to come out of this and this is really going to change the fitness industry. But what do you predict will happen? How will we be changed?
Well, I hope we are changed by this, first of all, because I don't want to go off and too deep into, the high consciousness of our planet right now, but I'm going to mention a little bit that if we think about how nature restores balance everywhere, nature has a violent, hard way to restore balance. If we think about forest fires, floods, blizzards, tsunamis, all this dramatic weather change that we see, it changes the environment and it constantly involves death and rebirth. So that's how nature restores balance. So if we look at the bigger picture, what's happening right now, I think this, whatever, there's no point to talk about was this virus man made or was nature made. It's not the point. The point is that we all being kind of encouraged. I like to use the word encouragement, but I think some people have been forced to really look at their lives, their health, their business, and it's time for them to restore individual balance so there's more balance in their family, their community, and ultimately in our planet. But look what we're all doing right now. We are slowing down, we are pausing, we're breathing deeply more, we're connecting more, we're taking care, we're paying more attention to our health. So we're changing our behaviors right now in a way that we all leveling up, we all rising, we're all going above and beyond so we can get through this. And we will, because our bodies are designed to thrive in stress. That's what we made for. So we all being invited to rise and to level up. So it is changing us by the day. And my biggest hope, and I'm going to make this a prediction, is that most of us are going to choose to stay at that level, that we're not going to, like in 2-3 months, hopefully when this virus is more contained, we're going to go back to normal. There's no going back to normal. We've been pushed and forced to change so we can live in a more sustainable ways. And basically, stress coach, I just see the way people have been living their lives with high state of anxiety and fear and emotional stress is just not sustainable. People are crashing, and they crash psychologically, they crash physiologically when they get sick. So my prediction is that we all going to be more aware, be more connected, be healthier, and value the things that are really important in our life. So yes, I'm predicting change, and we need the change.
Yeah, I love that. I'm so glad you said it. And for anybody who's listening, who's also listening sometimes to the Flipping 50 podcast, I mentioned this the other day, and I mentioned it also on one of our live yoga sessions that we're doing that Wednesday night in a town hall meeting with some other colleagues. One of my friends, Dr. Sachin Pashal, said something that not all listeners were ready to hear. I think some might have taken offense to it, but he said essentially, you asked for this. And by that, he meant collectively. We all asked for it. And so I think any one of us, listeners, myself, we can reflect on, what was it we were saying in our lives we wanted to change? Like, you want more time at home, you want more time with your family, you want more freedom, you want less work. Well, guess what? We got it, right?
I
And
totally agree with that.
yeah. And I don't mean that to be like smarty pants or, spicy, but literally, like you said, that's the universe creating the balance that we were actually all craving. And I ran to the grocery store thinking twice about, okay, am I going to have to stand in line before it's my turn to go in or what's happening over there? But it was a little bit normal. But on the way, I have seen more families out walking or riding bicycles together in the last 2 days than I have the entire 9 months I've been in Scottsdale. And, there's something I love about this. There is something I love about that we're connecting, with our families. And I waved at more people walking Truman around the block today than I have again in 9 months because we're all just looking for connecting. We know exactly what the other person is going through.
Yes, I'm so glad you mentioned that. I thought I was the only one doing this, but I'm catching myself driving, and when I stop at the traffic light, I intentionally look next to me to make eye contact with a stranger and smiling, which it's my way of saying, hey, there's hope. We're going to make it. We're in this together. So there is this natural, organic way that we all like want to connect more because we're wired to connect. Think about it. What most of us did when we stop in a traffic light, we'll pick up our phones to see if there's a text message or email or something that we need to respond right away. And 99% of the time, there isn't any emergency to respond. And now I hope that beyond myself and you, that the more people, like instead of grabbing their phones in the traffic light, that they're looking at the stranger next to them and smiling. So there's so many silver linings coming from this. And again, my biggest hope is that we really don't just modify our behaviors right now, that we keep these behaviors as we move on and we get through this crisis.
Fantastic. Yeah, I love that. Okay, so for listeners, what if we could like give them, one, two, three, like literally tangible things and actions they could be doing right now that may in the future reap rewards of this connection that they're making. Little things that maybe you or I are doing and the ways that we're getting on and connecting with our audience. I mean, what's been working for you that seems to get positive comments and thank yous from clients and customers, or maybe not yet customers, those prospects who someday just need to connect right now? What are you doing, Alex?
So, number one thing that I'm doing for myself and I'm doing for my community every day is focusing on mindfulness. And I know this word, doesn't resonate with anybody, but mindfulness basically means let's be aware in our body right now and get in touch with how we feel. For example, by simply asking ourselves in the morning, how am I feeling? And we tend to use general words like I'm stressed or I'm anxious. So the first tip that I want to give here to your listeners is knowledge that feeling, whatever you feeling right now. When you saying words like I'm stressed or I'm anxious, go a little bit deeper and understand your emotions and ask after that what's causing you to be stressed, what's causing you to be anxious. And yes, we can all assume, well, it's this coronavirus crisis, but let's make it personal and through a self-inquiry ask yourself, spend 5 minutes in self-reflection just exploring those emotions, because just by sitting and exploring our own emotions we start actually giving room for them to dissolve by simply understanding where's the anxiety coming from. And you might say things like, I don't know if I'm going to have the money to pay my rent or my mortgage next month. So anxiety is always a anticipation emotion. You're anticipating something that might happen in the future. It's never a present emotion. You might experience in a moment, but the anxiety is coming from thoughts about the future. And I always say, if you're going to project your thoughts into the future, maybe choose faith versus fear. So that's another strategy. So explore your emotions, understand where they're coming from, and have a little conversation. If it's anxiety, have a conversation with your anxiety. If it's sadness, have a little conversation with the sadness, because just the process can help to dissolve those negative emotions so you don't ruminate on them, because it's the rumination on negative emotions that it starts hurting the mind and the body. And with that, it creates chronic stress, which will suppress your immune system, which is the worst thing you can be doing right now. So I've been talking a lot about how we can use our psychology and physiology to boost our immune system that knows what to do when we have a virus or a bacteria present in our bodies. So we need to honor our bodies and work with our bodies. So number one, understand your emotions. Number two, that will really help people with anxiety, is to replace fear by faith. Because if you think about faith, is also a quality that refers to the future. Faith is basically the belief that a good positive outcome will happen. So it's like the other side of the coin. If you focus on fear, you focus on one side of the coin, which shows up in the format of worry, and worry goes into anxiety pretty quickly if we don't watch our thoughts, and the anxiety can even lead to panic attacks. So one side of the coin is the fear, but if we flip that coin, since we're going to be referring to the future anyway, flip the coin and put your focus on faith. What can go right instead of thinking about all the things that can go wrong, which cause anxiety, because the things that can go wrong will cause us pain and suffering, and we don't want to be in pain. But if we flip that coin into faith and ask what can go right, what positive changes might come from all this in your personal life, in your business, so then you focus on things that can go right, and you're going to shift the place from anxiety to calm, to being present in a moment where you're able to manage your emotions much better. So one thing I'm doing myself, and I've been teaching my community doing Facebook Lives every single day, is meditation. it's a great time to learn how to meditate. And for the people who are just starting to meditate, the students, we all are students, but the best way to start a meditation practice is to do a guided meditation. You can use apps like Headspace, Insight Timer, Calm. Find free apps right now, since we're all going to be, a little more conservative with money. But guided meditation is a great place for you to start. And if you already been meditating for a while, there are several ways to do meditation, and I teach a lot of those strategies on my. Your audience can go to my Facebook page where I taught guided meditation this entire week, and we can put that link later. But I think those strategies are a good place to start. Emotional, managing your emotions, replacing fear with faith, and a meditation practice.
Love those tips. That's a fantastic tip really gave 2 tips right there. And number one, listeners, was obviously the content, like where to go and how to help, what it is you're going to say. And I know some of you listening are thinking, well, if I went live, I don't know what I would do, because maybe you don't want to talk about supplements. You feel like that's not your jam, or somebody else is covering that better than you could. But this is one area where you could. And I will also encourage you to do this, even if you think you don't have something to offer. There's a reason your clients are already with you, and just tap into that. What is it that they love and they keep asking you over and over? Some of those things, you can still tap into those reinforcing habits, the simple things like getting sleep, hydrating. You can emphasize those, as well as if you don't think meditation is your jam and you can't teach it, you could piggyback off of maybe Alex's content, send them there, and then do more like a book club where you talk about it and literally admit, I'm starting too. I'm in this boat rowing with you. That would even be very beneficial. So you don't have to be ahead of them necessarily to be the leader and the coach and the guide going through it with them. So just some heads up. But then, Alex, you mentioned you're doing a Facebook Live every day. Have you found that's a good vehicle for connecting with your people?
It's been an incredible vehicle. I'm engaging with people that I never engaged with before.
Yep.
New people, like the family members are joining, friend me on Facebook. So I'm having an opportunity to connect with brand new people that were not part of my group. And some of them are showing up every single day. Like I can tell they're putting in their calendar, 12 o'clock, Alex is going to show up and share some insights, share a guided meditation. But this is the thing also, Deborah, and this is so important to your audience. I'm not just helping them. Being connected with my audience is actually helping me to stay centered, to stay grounded, to stay positive, because again, we are in this profession because we love to help. So by helping people, I am not stuck in my own mind all day in a place of fear. So by doing that, I'm showing up in my passion, in my service, in my purpose. So it's creating this like win-win situation for all of us. And I'm also planting the seed that I'm going to turn a lot of these Facebook Live videos into a paid platform using Zoom, where I'm going to ask a small amount of money, but this is going to be kind of a catalyst to bring this group into a paid program where they can continue having my coaching, my guidance every single day to this period. And they're going to be asked to pay a small amount of money to be part of that group. So it's helped me a lot.
Good. Okay. So a couple of things I want to comment on. Number one, you're there consistently. So that's really important. So listeners, if you're thinking, what can I do and how can I go on? If you decide to do this, commit to a specific time. And that doesn't necessarily mean maybe there will be an interruption or a disruption and you'll have to adjust. But like Alex, if you're doing noon every day, I'm doing a 4 p.m. yoga for the foreseeable near future, right? And that I don't know that I can commit to that forever, but we also don't know where will we be in 2 weeks. And so I've committed through April 1st and then I'll reassess. But it's that right now, everything else is very unpredictable. And if you can be a constant for them, just a small anchor, that will be a huge help for them. So there is that. And then, of course, if you do it live, it's going to still be there. You can arrange those videos in an album so that when you point people to, you can come to the page, you can go to videos. They're all arranged, the meditation album, that's where you'll find them, so point them to that. That's simple. You can find those. And I will say this too about Facebook, like you mentioned, people are on Facebook right now more than ever, and too much. Probably they're tuning into news, they're tuning into everything, they're getting a little overwhelmed. But if you can be the voice of reason for them and help them sort through things that they're seeing and hearing, and not always feeling as if you have to have a lot of content coming, and just simply saying, I've seen you open up Alex X and get started, and you've started with questions like, how are you feeling? What's coming up for you? And allow their comments to guide what you'll do. So listeners, you can, I think, relax a little bit about having to come and be totally over prepared. You can just piggyback off of what they're asking you for and telling you they want and need more of.
Yes. And one thing, if I may add here, when I was sharing those insights about connect with your emotions and meditation, I think it's a place that your trainers, your fitness experts can teach the audience if that's what they know. But also was sharing that because those are important practices for us professionals, because when you go from a place of fear to calm, to being present, to being grounded, you also, as a professional, start tapping into all the knowledge that you already have inside you. And you will come up with content much, much easier. Like right now, the way I'm tapping to a lot of content, I go into my meditation. And when I meditate, because I get in a very calm state, by just sitting quietly, I am coming up with insights. And sometimes I even ask, like, what does my audience want to learn today? And the insight comes. What I'm trying to say here is that you professionals listening right now, you have all the knowledge inside you already, knowledge that will serve your audience. It's not inside you. So you need to ask yourself, what practices do you need to do yourself? What kind of self-care do you need to keep yourself grounded and calm so you can show up as the best coach or the best trainer right now? It's like, how can you show up at your best? Because when you apply this practice to yourself, number one, you'll be able to share with your audience in a very authentic way what you are doing. And like Deborah mentioned earlier, like if you're going to start meditate for the first time, well, share the process with your audience, and you can use external resources. Yes, from myself, but also from other spiritual teachers out there that you might watch a YouTube video or you might read something in a book that is really speaking to you. Use that resource. You just need to make sure you give credit to the writer, to the author, to the coach. But you don't need to come up with all the content yourself. You can use external resources just as a way to start connecting. From there, like Deborah said, your audience is going to guide you on how to create more content. But again, if you have some mindful practice for yourself, you're going to start tapping into your own creativity and all this knowledge that is already inside you. And you're going to be surprised how easy content starts to come out.
I love that. That was so good. And really, I want to summarize that like this. It's coming back to, who do you need to be in order to show up for them? So, Alex, let's finish with this maybe a little bit more informally. And what is it right now that you are doing to boost your immune system, to buff yourself up, to take care of you?
Yeah, great question. So I am actually sleeping a little extra. Some nights, I usually sleep about 8 hours, but some nights I'm giving myself permission to sleep about 9 hours. I am drinking warm water with lemon to keep my respiratory system moist because I heard that's one way to protect our bodies from this virus. So, sleeping, more hydration. Uh, my nutrition is the same because I always, since I became a coach, I eat very, very healthy. But if we're going to talk about nutrition for a little bit, make sure, especially as for right now, we can all go to the grocery store. Make sure you buy fresh vegetables, perishables, and you eat a lot of colorful leafy greens, colorful vegetables to boost your immune system. Um, I use some supplements. So it's this package. I can send a picture to you, but it's an immune support pack by Designs for Health. So it's just a combination of vitamin C and D and zinc. So I make sure I take that every single day. And I am meditating a couple times a day. I do 20-minute session in the morning, and then I do a 20-minute session in the afternoon, just to keep my state calm, center. Also to find that steadiness and instability inside, because there's so much instability and uncertainty outside us that I find that is more important than ever for me to find the certainty inside me. And what I mean by that is to find your own resources. We are resourceful, and we always being able to figure things out, to adapt. Adaptation is key right now. So it's what's helping me is to keep a growth mindset, a very open mindset that I will adapt. My business is will adapt to what's happening. Um, I don't know if I'll be able to keep my brick and mortar. That's a question mark. But right now, I'm focused on the present moment. So another thing that's really helping is to stay present. If you catch yourself going into what might happen next month, you might get overwhelmed with fear. So staying present by protecting yourself, by planting some seeds, like connecting with your audience is a way to plant the seed, but focus on the present. Like, what can you do right now to show up at your best for yourself, for your family, for your loved ones, for your clients? And as you stay present, you keep tapping into again creativity and new insights. And well, the stress dissolves because, as an author said, I can remember his name. He said, "In the present moment, there's no stress." So those are the things I'm doing to take care of myself right now.
Those are so good. So good. Okay, so for listeners, let's share both your studio. Where can they find you, and where can they find you and look over your shoulder, maybe learn a little bit about meditation themselves, or watch and observe how you're connecting to your customers?
Yeah, so you can find me on Facebook is the best way to stay connected with me right now because I'm keeping my presence pretty strong there. And that's Alex Gill, Alex Gill, Gil. That's my personal page. You can also connect with me on my private group page, which is simply called Master Your Energy. That's my private Facebook group. And if you go there and you want to join the page, I share some different content there, more focus on professionals and high achieving entrepreneurs. So that's the best way to stay in touch with me right now. You can also go to my website. It's called Vitalé, Vitale Studio, vitalestudio.com. So, and there you can find my email. And again, I'm pretty active on Facebook right now, so you can get in touch with me there.
Great. Okay, and it's Vitali.
Vitali, yes.
No, I did slaughter it. I'm so sorry.
No. Everybody says Vital. It's totally fine, but it's vitalestudio.com. Yes.
Very good. Alex, thanks so much for being here. Let's all hope we make this out stronger, better, and we learn a lot about what our customers need in this time, and I really think we will.
It's my pleasure, Deborah. Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here, connecting with you, connect with your audience. And if I can support you or your audience anyway, please let me know.
Absolutely. Listeners, if you have a question that we didn't ask and you want to get more specific, you can leave a comment for us at fitnessmarketingmastery.com/energy. And we are thinking about you, and you will come out of this stronger. Just pivot.